All right, guys. Welcome back to the Beggars Canyon Boys in person.
Whoa.
This is the first for a long while.
Yeah.
But
There's a palpable energy in the room, like something crazy, something wild, almost something force sensitive.
yeah, I mean, there's nothing stopping me from lunging at you now
True.
during the show.
Yeah, I don't need to do my force choke. I can just
It's just
actually feel my
real.
hands around your throat.
That. Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's true.
hey.
Let's hope it doesn't come to that
I'm
today.
sorry. You're the one that started with lunging at me.
No, no, you're right. I wasn't being like, wow, crazy you would say something like that. I just kind of was doing that for both of us.
Wow,
Like,
see, isn't the energy better now that we're just
yeah.
come on.
We're back. We're back together again. Our first video version in person. Um, so that's exciting.
Yeah.
Uh, Hopefully the rest of the episodes, maybe excluding some travel or something, will be in person as well. So, um,
You going somewhere?
uh, yeah, I have unfinished business on Ord Mantell.
Where's that?
It's like a planet referenced at the very beginning of Empire Strikes Back. Like, oh, we barely got away from those guys on Ord Mantell.
Okay, wow.
It's
Did you think I was gonna
it's been in some of the video games and some of the comics and
Okay,
things.
okay. I'm terrible with these names though. I feel like that's no secret.
Hey, it's okay. I really the ones in the movies are the only ones that actually sink in for me. I forget all the other stuff even if I've seen it like 5 times. But
Yeah. I keep thinking that with certain things also where I'm like, I cannot wait to see more Star Wars movies because that locks them into my like words and vocabulary in my brain way better than like reading it in a comic.
absolutely. Comics are like the most slippery medium for me in terms of my memory. Like for some reason I can like go through a page of a comic and be like, like I have no idea what just happened and have to go back and read it again. But
Yeah,
it's a weird thing that happens to me with comics.
I agree with that. I wonder why that is though also. It must like I think it's part of the writing style of them that is
Yeah.
sometimes just really bad also.
Yeah.
And it makes it much harder in that format. I don't know why.
It can be mind numbing and you can program yourself to like skim through stuff that you're like, this isn't important, and then you're like, well, maybe that was like
Yeah,
something I should, but whatever.
dude, I've read a lot of bad Star Wars comics. I have to say.
Well, sure, but I feel like today's were pretty good. I think.
I say 2 out of 3, but
Okay. Out of four, did you read the Empire Strikes Back manga?
oh, I did not. I'm so
Hey,
sorry.
that's okay. That's okay.
Damn, I
There's
knew I forgot something.
not really too much important stuff to talk about with that, but it's fun. It's
I'm sure it
good.
would have been 3 out of 4 if I read that.
Yeah, I think you would like it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's a different artist than did the New Hope one. And at first I was like, oh man, I really liked the guy who did A New Hope a lot. And it took a little adjusting to the new art style. At first I was like, I don't think I like it as much, but I grew to appreciate it as it went on, and I think it holds its own. And I think maybe it's not quite as strong as the A New Hope one was, but definitely still worth
damn.
checking out.
Yeah, I gotta check it out. I wanted to. I was looking forward to it.
Hey, that's okay. That's okay. There's really not too much that we would say about it other than
Yeah,
like it's cool and
yeah.
it does a good job adapting the movie. But yeah, you gotta at least look at the Battle of Hoth, incredible. Yoda training Luke, amazing, and Vader and Luke fighting, amazing,
Okay, sick.
amazing.
Looking forward to that.
The I am your father reveal is so cool, the way it's shown in the artwork and everything. Yeah. Anyway, today though we will talk about some other comics. We've got three comics to talk about. Then we've got Vader's Quest, which was a 4-issue miniseries.
Hmm.
Then we've got Boba Fett, Enemy of the Empire, another 4-issue miniseries. Right, that was just four, right?
Yes, yeah. The
Okay.
only one that was 6 was the Star
Yes.
Wars 1998 one.
Yep, yep. And then we've got the start of Dark Horse's second of the ongoing Star Wars comics, Rogue Squadron being the first. First 6 issues, the first arc. And you know, this is like an ongoing comic, but essentially it's still gonna be like pretty much an anthology. Each like arc is kind of a different story. Um, but the first 6 issues called Prelude to Rebellion for some reason. Um,
I thought this was going to be like somewhat of a prequel tie-in, honestly.
it it is.
Oh,
Sort of.
oh,
So yeah, it's coming out right before Phantom Menace, and I'm pretty sure like maybe issues 5 and 6 came out right after or during the release of Phantom Menace, but you
hmm.
know, doesn't spoil anything, but takes place shortly before the movie. I mean, years before, but a couple years before
Okay.
the movie. Uh, so yeah, that's the start of the ongoing just Star Wars straight up. Their first comic just called Star Wars. And then also, did you get a chance to play the Rogue Squadron video game?
No, I didn't play it. I could not. I don't have access to a laptop right now because I traded mine in. I'm
Oh,
getting a new
damn.
one.
Okay. Okay. Well, no worries, but
But I watched a video on it.
okay. Nice,
So
nice.
that's it.
Well, hey, I played through the whole thing just recently, so we can still briefly chat about it. But yeah, that's the content for today. What so 2 out of 3 of these you liked?
Yeah, can you guess which ones I liked?
I'm gonna guess maybe you liked Vader's Quest and Boba Fett and
Yes,
didn't like the regular Star Wars one.
that's correct.
Okay,
Yes.
okay. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I still like the Star Wars one.
There's cool stuff in it.
Yeah, yeah.
It was kind of like what we were talking about though, when the comics are dense like that, and it just starts to become like, oh, what did I have to go back and read this page again because I didn't even register what I just read.
Just not necessary how many words there are.
Yeah,
The same amount of story and emotion could be communicated much more efficiently. I totally agree with you. Um,
Yoda though.
hey, I like those backup stories.
Yeah, yeah.
Telling Kiadi-Mundi's origin.
I thought Yoda was well written too, like within the character for Yoda.
Yeah, I agree.
So
I agree. Well, you want to start with that one, get it out of the way?
yeah, we can.
Um, so let's yeah, I was telling Ryan before I don't have the ease of just opening up tabs without anyone knowing, so I'm just gonna take a quick look to see. Oh yes, okay. So this was written by Jan Sternad, who's written some of the Rogue Squadron comics and stuff. And sorry if I'm pronouncing the last name wrong, but I always read it as Strand, but it's actually spelled Strnad. So Strnad.
Strnad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I thought was just like a typo on the wiki, but then I went and looked at like the comic itself, and that's how it's written on the comic, and so it must be correct.
Okay, just making sure I heard that right.
Yeah, and pencils by Anthony Wynn. So yeah, this story introduces us to a brand new character that we'll see in a Phantom Menace. Aren't you so excited to meet Kiadi-Mundi
Oh, okay.
in the Phantom Menace?
Wow. Okay. Not he honestly didn't register that hard with me in this.
What? He's the main character of 6 issues of comics, and he didn't register hard to you?
No, no.
He has 20 wives. He's so
Oh.
cool.
Yeah, they're really cool culture. I was like, that's going great places. Nice.
Um, yeah, so this tells the story of the Syrian Jedi. Syrian? I mean, Syrian is a real thing, but it's so I'll say Syrian just to differentiate.
Yeah.
Kiadi-Mundi, Syrian Jedi Knight, and he lives on a planet, Saria, that they don't like technology.
Yeah.
They want to just be one with the beautiful land. And but they have these zones that are being built by outsiders. Blah blah blah. Anyway, there's like
Yeah, have you seen the quality of those zones though?
yeah,
You don't
bad
live
people
there.
live
Yeah.
there. The Sarians seem like pretty xenophobic throughout this whole thing, and like are super like, oh, outlanders are like disgusting bringing their, but obviously the young people want change. It's
Yeah.
so weird how like
They're the bad
they're
guys.
the bad guys, yeah, and they do bad stuff. Obviously, like to
Yeah.
make them bad guys, they like kill people, steal stuff, vandalize, whatever. But like it's such a funny thing that's so common in a lot of media where like yeah, the bad guys will like do stuff that's bad, but their cause is always like the environment
Yeah.
or accepting change and blah blah blah. So yeah, pretty conservative planet.
I think it's even funny, not to jump a little bit ahead, but like when the older dude rolls up to like their rally for change and progress, like they make it seem like it was really nefarious when the guy Braun, I think, was like, okay, yeah, you can speak, like we want to hear what you have to say too.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
like, because all the bubbles are like, oh, he's only letting him speak because he knows like it'll make him look good, and
yeah,
it'll make
yeah.
like everyone mad at this cause, and they'll turn against him. It's like he's just letting him speak though. Also,
I know he gave him an opportunity to speak without like really influencing what he said,
yeah.
and the crowd didn't like what he had to say.
Yeah,
So like,
yeah, like
what do you want?
Braun literally is like, we value all voices and opinions, so go ahead.
And Kiadi Moody's whole thing is like, I don't value other opinions.
Yeah.
Mine is right. Well, um, yeah, but he does some cool flips, and
Yeah.
I like when he has to fight without his lightsaber. So okay, so
I
the
mean,
main
he's constantly trying to get it back from them.
yeah.
But there's protocol in the past. But yeah.
Yeah, he's also a hypocrite. Like,
Yeah.
and he keeps getting called a hypocrite by the bad guys, but it's like they're right though.
Yeah.
So anyway, this
Actually,
is.
I love this comic now. That the more I'm thinking about it, the more I like it.
I mean, haven't we talked about before, like the Jedi being like dogmatic, stubborn,
Yeah.
sort of corrupt people sometimes?
True.
Um. So I guess yeah, the first three issues are just kind of about this political strife, the traditionalists versus the new young people wanting to bring technology in, and then the second half of it turns into an adventure where Kiadi Mundi's daughter is essentially kidnapped by this guy Effent Mon and brought to Jabba the
Oh,
Hutt,
yeah.
and then he has to rescue her from Jabba the Hutt, and it kind of drops all the stuff about the technology versus not technology, except for the fact that he has like some robot buddies come along with him for that part. But
Oh yeah.
anyway, yeah, that's the plot, and we've already touched on a few things. But what didn't you like about this?
Um, I just thought it was boring and like not super easy to follow. Like honestly, what you're talking about, the way it sort of transitions its story, but because I guess it's doing its like anthology thing within its greater universe of characters. But like I don't know, yeah, with like the technology versus no technology story, for example, I like was like, when did it end? I was like, 'cause it felt like that story didn't end, and we just moved on to something else.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, what? No, I thought I was missing things, so that's
They
why.
just abandon it. Really.
Okay, so yeah, that's at least somewhat nice to hear because I'm like, man, I just like I must have been getting so tired of reading all the words on the page here because certain things are like not ringing a bell with like how that resolved. But yeah, I don't know. That's then I liked all the little like Yoda moments, like I said, but nothing else really stood out to me in that one as like a really cool or exciting thing to see. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I think the flashbacks to him like undergoing training with Yoda are really pretty nice, and Yoda kind of calls out like, "Oh, you got to be aware of your blind spot," and then
Yeah.
he's like, "Oh, my blind spot is my daughter, I guess." Uh, I also like the backups in. It's not in all of these, but in a couple of these, the last like 3 or 4 pages are full-on flashbacks to Kiadi Mundi as a little kid being force sensitive and being discovered by the Dark Woman, and taken to Coruscant. then he comes back and like liberates his family from this band of raiders or whatever. I thought
Yeah.
that story was very simple but kind of fun and interesting.
Yeah, I actually kind of forgot about that one. I did like that a lot though, and I liked the moment where like he goes back and Yoda's like cautioning against revenge and whatnot. Um, and he sees the guy in like such a terrible position, and he's like, oh, you kind of lived a life that led you to this terrible result. So
Yeah.
that's kind of punishment in a universal way in and of itself. So I'm kind of at peace. Like that was nice.
Yeah, that was cool. And that seemed like the cool version of Jedi pragmatism, I feel like, of like not letting your emotions get the better of you, which like, sometimes is to their fault, but other times when it's those negative things can be an interesting way of dealing with conflict resolution, I
Yeah.
think. Um so we get some interesting lore about Sarians here. Their planet or their species just naturally is like their population is like 20 females to every one male. So like most of the guys have a bunch of wives. They have, I forget the names of them, but they have like two different types of wives. They have one like honor wife and
Yeah.
then like as many as they want other
I
kind
think it
of
was Comfort Wife, honestly. I think it really was.
it's something like that. I
Yeah.
And so, like, Kiadi personal struggle in this is that he's only had daughters, right? And he really wants a son. But that's why he's never had a child with his honor wife, who's supposed to be his main wife that he
Yeah.
should have a child with,
But he's scared.
because he can't lie to her.
Yeah, because she's force sensitive.
Yeah, yeah. And he said, all my other wives I can lie to and
Yeah.
pretend that I'm not disappointed when they bear me a daughter. But my real wife, she would know that I was actually lying if I said, like, no, I'm happy that a daughter is born.
He seems like a good guy. Yeah.
But hey, he gets over that. By the end of this, he thinks, my God, I'm so stupid. I wanted a son so bad. I forgot to love my daughters. Um,
Well, that's a good message at least. A good takeaway.
yeah, yeah. So you wouldn't say after this that you're like foaming at the mouth to meet Kiadi Mundi in a movie?
Is he actually in the prequels?
Yeah, dude.
Okay, I look forward to it. Wow. Wow. Okay. A character from the comics that was introduced first in the movie?
First, I mean, this is his first appearance.
That seems like a
timeline
bold
wise.
move for them to do.
Yeah, right.
But okay.
Soft launching their new character.
What, did they get a bunch of letters writing in for this issue? Like, oh my god, he was he was really captivating.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this came out after it was all filmed already and everything,
Oh,
and they
okay.
probably, had access to like some of the character designs and information or
Oh.
whatever.
Does he sell a lot of toys or something?
I don't think so. I
Hmm.
don't think so. It's pretty weird. I would say it's a weird choice to start their ongoing comic with this, but yeah, get ready. Get ready for Kiadi Mundi.
Okay, I
His
am.
big screen debut.
Fan favorite?
I don't know. I don't know if I'd say that, but
Okay.
um well, yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any other like thoughts about this. It's not like we said, it totally abandons its slightly more interesting storyline for a very basic just rescue my daughter from Jabba the Hutt thing, which has some good moments of action in the art, I feel like, but it's not that good. I mean, he has to fight all these like little aliens on a spaceship at one point, makes friends with some
Oh yeah,
droids.
they're like. You ever see the movie Critters? That's what they reminded me of.
Hmm.
Because I think there's also Critters in space, so maybe I'm like also mixing that up in my head, but
I think they're from space, right?
probably.
I
I
don't
mean, that would seem
remember.
likely based off what they are, but I don't know. Do you remember though? Was there a Critters in space movie where they like infiltrate a spaceship?
I don't know. I mean, there's definitely sequels to Critters,
All
so
right,
that's
yeah.
possible.
I'm not sure if I'm also thinking of like Jason X.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Sorry. was gonna say I think some other thing went to space too, but I couldn't think of what it was.
Critters, dude. I'm telling you.
Hey, I believe you.
Nightmare on Elm Street in space. How come they never did that?
Yeah, dude, that would have been awesome.
Yeah,
And
dreams in space.
yeah, be different than dreams on Earth.
Come on.
Probably, dude. An astronaut's dreams are probably pretty different than ours.
There's no gravity in them, that's for sure. Okay.
I don't know. I feel like I can float around in a lot of my dreams, though.
What do you think the two astronauts stuck in space right now are thinking, are dreaming about?
I wish Freddy and Jason were here.
Yeah,
Probably. That's what
probably.
they're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe they're wondering why they didn't get Mike Myers in on that crossover. Doesn't it seem like
Yeah,
the three
yeah.
should be in a crossover together?
Yeah. Yeah.
That never happened?
No, I don't believe so. But, you know, wouldn't like Michael Myers be more go like with Leatherface?
I mean, I guess, theoretically, but also, like, when you think of, like, the big three of horror movies, those are who I think of.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like, the matchup
Then
wise,
maybe like
yes.
the ghost face scream mask.
Yeah,
But that's like a mask worn by many people.
True.
Whereas these are all most of the time one guy. Um yeah, yeah. Yeah, Michael Myers. Mike Myers
Yeah.
is Shrek.
Yeah,
Um
don't be casual with him either.
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I thought you said Mike Myers the first
Oh,
time.
did I?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay.
Anyway, you're right though that they should all team up to fight against the alien and the predator and
Ooh.
uh
In colonial America.
yeah
Dude, I would love that.
and put Salacious Crumb in there too. It's another iconic movie
Laughing
alien.
all the time.
Yeah.
Weird to think of Salacious Crumb as an alien, because I'm just like, that's a little rat. Like,
yeah. No, dude, he's I forget what he is.
Yeah. I'm sure he's got a spin-off Disney Plus show out there somewhere.
Not yet, but we
Wow.
could make it happen.
I hope so.
I mean, he is actually a fan favorite. You know, there's lots of toys and stuff with Salacious Crumb.
I bet, dude. Give him a little show with Grogu. A little kid show with him and Grogu.
I mean, I would love like maybe not a full show, but like a series of shorts about like the Max Rebo band
Yeah.
going to different venues, and there could be like quick little stories and a song.
I think you say you'd like that, but any execution of that, I think would be really bad, and you may regret
Well,
thinking
let
of the
me do it.
idea.
I'll do it.
Okay,
I'll
yeah,
do
maybe
it.
you could do it right. But I'm just thinking of like Disney doing that idea,
Yeah,
and I don't think there's any way they could do it that would be satisfying to what you are actually wanting for it.
just a cute little cartoon or something, little 5 minute short.
I just think they'd make each one its own original musical thing. You
Yeah.
know? And it'd get rough, I think.
Yeah, we need to get John Williams' son back on the lyrics. Lopty neck writer himself.
Oh, okay.
Uh, well, shall we go on to Boba Fett, Enemy of the Empire?
Yeah, I thought this was cool. I like this one a lot.
Yeah, I like it too. So this one is written by John Wagner, who wrote a lot of the other Boba Fett stuff we've read so far. And then penciled by Ian Gibson for, I'm pretty sure, the first 3 issues, and it was the 4th one that was done by John Nadeau. Dude, Naga Sadao.
Be proud I remembered some of it.
Hey,
at
I
least.
am
Come on,
proud.
like that.
I am proud. You almost fooled me for a second, but
That's because I whispered it.
so this is a cool little story that takes place before A New Hope, I believe. And it is about
Wait, A New Hope is episode 3?
4.
Oh, 4. I think it takes place after it, right?
Vader's quest takes place after it.
Okay, maybe I'm mixing these two.
Well, let me be sure, because you might be right, but I think this is
Is this the one where Vader sends out. Okay, wait. I think I am thinking of Vader's Quest.
Vader's
Yeah,
quest is where he learns
Luke
the
Skywalker. Yeah,
Skywalkers who blew up the Death Star. Yeah. Um. Okay. Yeah. This takes place 3 years before A New Hope.
should have never questioned your Star Wars knowledge.
Hey, it's okay. You could. I mess things up. I do.
No, no,
Okay.
no.
Okay. Okay. Man, we don't have the soundboard. We're doing it
Oh,
live.
true. Well, you can't have that out here somehow.
Um. Yeah, I can.
I'd have to see you reaching over to go click one.
Yeah.
I've just about had enough of you.
All right. We'll see if that probably picked up nicely on the microphone.
Yeah, I'm sure it's really good.
Okay. So anyway, yeah, Boba Fett, Enemy of the Empire. It's okay though because both involve Vader sending people out to go like find someone. So I
Yeah.
understand mixing them up.
I
But
was happy to get a lot of Vader content all of a sudden. Though. That was nice.
yeah, it
'Cause
was.
I liked him in both them too.
You got some POV of Vader in this one too, or like he was having like thought bubbles and stuff.
Oh, and which one?
In Boba Fett, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, okay.
Brief
Cool. I don't
little
remember
moments,
exactly, but
So this one is a cool little story. There's this Imperial officer that Vader hires Boba Fett to go track down, and he tells him like, "Oh, it's for killing his superior or whatever." And also, by the way, he's got like this box, and if you could take that and bring it back to me,
yeah.
that would be cool. And he's like, "Okay." Turns out the box has the head of this species of alien that can survive even if you cut all their limbs off and stuff. So she's this woman who's alive with just her head, and she can see the future. And so Darth Vader really wants this very powerful object that could reveal the future to him and help him stop his enemies. Yeah, that's the gist. But there's lots of cool little nuggets in this. I'll let you share your thoughts about it first. But I like this one.
Yeah, I like it too. I thought it was pretty fun, pretty cool. I like seeing Vader again. I like him having like such an active role in the story. I will say his plan that he enacts in the story, like I kind of have to suspend my disbelief a little bit because it's a little stupid.
What, sending the other people after Boba Fett to
Yeah.
kill him once he gets the box?
Yeah, it's like why did you hire Boba Fett, like the most capable bounty hunter, to go kill and then retrieve something for you? But you're gonna have him kill the guy, then you have another group then going to infiltrate and kill Boba Fett to get it. It's like I would trust Boba Fett over just this other random group. Which
yeah, dude, Boba Fett's not gonna like talk or well, actually, once he does learn what's going on, he actually does go against what
Well,
Vader wants to do. So
that's true.
Yeah.
Well, Vader shouldn't have been sending maybe any of these folks out to
just
actually
go kill this guy yourself.
Yeah,
bro.
he's capable of doing it.
Absolutely. It'd be easier to take the box from the guy than it would be to take the box from Boba Fett.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah.
But it was cool. I liked all the Vader moments were awesome, and then I like the Vader's dynamic with Boba Fett too in the beginning when they meet up because it's kind of like a game recognized game moment where Vader a little less so is like I think thinking like oh man what a badass, but like Boba Fett is respecting Vader for what he is. And then their fight at the end is also like pretty awesome. I like seeing Vader in action like that.
Yeah.
Made me think. I was like, oh man, I wonder if like I don't know what other Star Wars stuff is out there, but I wonder if there's any awesome Vader fights I'm going to see in the future where he's going crazy like this again. Because I feel like in this comic they captured well with the art, the style that I know Vader has done, where it's like he's really heavy-handed.
Yeah.
His fighting
Big
style.
overhead two-handed swings.
Yeah,
and
which
stuff.
is just so
Yeah.
odd, like just powerful.
Mhm.
Very cool. Very cool.
I totally agree. I think their fight in the final issue is the highlight of the whole thing. The rest of it is fun, and I genuinely like the artwork a lot throughout the whole thing. But their fight, that's what I've talked about it before. Talking about comic fights a lot, but like that's what I'm looking for. Of like, show me the individual moves and the reactions to the moves and like the moment to moment. And it's really cool to see a lightsaber user versus like a guns and rockets non-force user, like who's capable enough to like yes, he kind of had to like resort to tricks to keep from dying to Vader, who is like more powerful than him straight up, but like that shows you like how good Boba Fett is. Like he probably couldn't have killed Vader there, but he can hold his own and he can survive
Yeah,
an encounter with Darth Vader.
I
Like,
think that was a good concession for Boba Fett winning that fight too, being like, oh, Vader was also really hyper focused on getting the casket with the head in it. Like
hmm
he wanted to like make sure it was safe, and it's like you mentioned Boba Fett tactically like throwing it into the lava or whatever and to escape Vader. So yeah, I just thought that worked really well and was really cool. And also I thought the head herself was like kind of a cool character.
yeah,
Being
yeah,
like, oh, I like wanted to kill myself and now I'm just stuck as his head, and like her I always love like prophetic wisdom type characters where they're just like, I can tell you the future, but you're not gonna be able to change it, first of all. So
yeah,
what's the point of like, you don't want to hear it. Like, you trust me. I'm doing you a favor. Like, she's cool.
yeah. And Vader realizes like, yeah, maybe you're right,
Yeah.
right, and decides to not hear his future. Right? Am I remembering that wrong?
Yeah, her ending's actually kind of awesome too because
He just kills her, right?
yeah, because Palpatine's like, you got that head, like that can see the future, give it to
Yeah,
me.
right, right.
And she realizes like, okay, he's got two options here. Give it to someone more powerful, where the future may be more dangerous, like in his hands knowing it, I guess, or just
Just kill me.
yeah. So I imagine he just like crushed her head in the box or something.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. And then he just says like, "Oh, the head didn't survive the
yeah,
encounter with Boba Fett
that
or
was
whatever."
awesome.
That was really good. Yeah, she's well written too, and like kind of funny, and also like I think John Wagner has a funny tone to his books. I'm not like laughing out loud, but I also do like this pessimist cult that
Yeah.
is present in this. We haven't mentioned them at all, but the Imperial officer who has the head goes into hiding in this cult of pessimists. I think they're called like the cult of pessimists
Yeah,
or something
I
like
think that
that.
is it.
And essentially they're just pessimists, super negative about everything. They are always talking about how the worst thing's going to happen, and anytime somebody like is like, well, I hope that like we don't die or whatever, they're like, well, you shouldn't think that way because we are gonna die. Obviously, it's written better than that, but like I said, like it's not making me laugh out loud, but I think it's pretty charming and
Yeah, it was fun. I also really liked their little the funeral session they held for the one guy where
yes,
they were like,
yes,
well, his worst fear has come true, so it's like it's all good now. It's like, oh, okay, this is fun.
yeah. You can't worry about anything
Yeah.
anymore. And then, like, of course, the guy, you know, the leader is like, "Oh, we weren't destroyed. Like I'm gonna turn to optimism," and then gets killed. Right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Which I could have seen coming as something that would happen from probably the first issue of this, but you know,
Yeah, they were fun. They were
yeah.
just fun little inclusion in there. I agree.
But yeah, that fight is awesome. If you only want to read one issue, just go to issue 4 to see that fight, honestly. The whole thing I think is worthwhile and a quick read anyway, and pretty fun. But man, it's so sick when he pushes Boba Fett off of this cliff, and then he kind of thinks like, "All right, I won." So he just sort of like steps over to look over at him, and then you see Boba Fett's like used his jetpack to still be there, and then he fires the gun and it like bonks him in the head,
Yeah.
and he actually gets like a hit off on Vader. It's like, damn, you're respect,
Yeah.
respect to Boba Fett.
There was also this moment later where Boba Fett's like reflecting on the fight, and he thinks back. He's like, "Oh, there was this one moment where if I just pulled the trigger and didn't hesitate, I could have killed Darth Vader right then
Yeah,
and there."
yeah. But then he's like, doesn't he also think there? He's like, but I'm not one to hold a grudge, and I feel like this guy and I could have some more lucrative stuff together in the future.
Yeah, that is funny because also the head lady says that too to Vader. She's like, "You won't go after Boba Fett." because there's important things you two are gonna do together in the future.
Yeah, which is like a fine enough way to justify that. I get you want to have Boba Fett and Darth Vader fight in a comic like this. Like, that's what we all want to see happen.
Yeah,
But it is funny that you have to then justify, like, well, wait, like later they don't have any problem with each other and they will
Yeah.
work together again, even though they both tried to kill each other here and stabbed each other in the back.
hey, maybe there's another issue before all that where they sort of just sit down and talk things through.
Hey, there very well could be.
I will say, I'm a big Vader fan. This was his fault. He was gonna kill everyone who he sent out to do his missions.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if he just honored like a traditional gentleman's agreement on bounty hunting, would have been all good.
But I think, yeah. I mean, I don't think Boba Fett would have taken the head back to Vader, though, after he found out what it was.
Well, okay, again, Vader should have just done this himself then.
Yeah, I mean, I think he justifies it at the beginning by being like, oh, I don't have time to do all this stuff because I have so much stuff to do. But then he goes there anyway. He has to go
I was gonna
anyway.
say,
So.
and he supervises it like the whole time. And
Yeah,
like
yeah. He seems to be doing nothing else except paying attention to this. So.
yeah, he's very busy with that.
But it's fun. I think it's a breezy read and really cool action and badass moments.
Yeah,
So
I enjoyed
it's
it.
good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, shall we move on to Vader's Quest?
Cool title.
Yeah. It's a cool title. It's a very like old-fashioned title. I feel like it makes me feel like we're back in the 70s, 80s Star Wars comics a little bit.
Yeah.
And the comic has that vibe to it a little bit as well.
This comic's very funny. I don't know if it's intentionally funny, but it was making me laugh a lot.
I think some of it must be intentional, but I totally agree with you. So this is written by Darko McCann, who is a Croatian author from Zagreb, and this is penciled by Dave Gibbons, the penciler of Watchmen, if you've heard of that.
No. A little story called Watchmen.
And like I feel like some of the shots in this are, such like easy comps to. Obviously, it's the same artist, so
Yeah.
you can tell. But like the shot of Jal or whatever, that's his name.
Yeah, I think it's Zhao.
With measles, like looking at the camera like this. I'm like, that is like such a Watchman face right there of like some like
Yeah.
like divorced dad loser like getting like finding out that his wife is like cheating on him.
Well, I want to go back and look at the artwork now, knowing that, because I didn't even make the connection as I was reading through it, but
There's just a few, like, especially when there's a face going right at the camera of a human, it's like, oh yeah, that's Dave Gibbons.
which,
right
by the
there.
way, how funny was the measles thing?
That's awesome.
really funny.
Love that.
I just want to do my duty and take down the Death Star, but I can't because I got the measles. I have to watch all my friends take out the Death Star, right?
And almost all of them die too, except for
Yeah, but Luke borrowed his ship.
yeah.
It was his moment. His missiles.
Damn, and he doesn't get any recognition for
Yeah.
it. So this comic, as we alluded to before, this is Vader essentially discovers right at the beginning that the name of the pilot who destroyed the Death Star is Skywalker. He's like, oh shit, that's my child.
That's my Lukey.
I didn't even know he was alive.
My little Lukey.
My Hey, he doesn't even learn that his name's Luke in this. But
My little Sky.
little sky guy.
Yeah, exactly.
So he also has a bit of a convoluted plot in this one too. But whatever. Essentially, Vader's going after Luke, and also this pilot Jal is like, "Oh, I want glory." Accidentally gives up Luke's location to the Empire, and he's got to go redeem himself and
Yeah.
help them out.
This guy's the worst. He's like a terrible dude.
Yeah. Dude, but again, another thing I couldn't. it sounds a little stupid being like, the artist reminded me of himself.
Yeah.
Another thing that he also drew. Well, of course, because that's the style that he draws with. But the scenes of Jal in the bar with, I forget the species of people, but the green people
Yeah.
that, when he's all drunk, it looks so much like the scenes of the comedian in Vietnam, like
Okay.
when he shoots that woman that's pregnant with
Yeah.
stuff like it. It's just really making me think of all that. But anyway, yeah. Like you mentioned, this comic is funny. But what are your what thoughts are you having about it off the bat?
Um. Yeah, it was pretty enjoyable. Zhao's an awful dude though, like I said. Um he's like he's such a jerk to. Oh, you must have like seen your boy in this. Shoot, what is his name?
Oh, Wedge Antilles?
Yeah, Wedge. He's such a jerk to Wedge also in the
Absolutely,
beginning.
yeah. And Wedge is trying really hard to be a good pal to him.
Yeah. A jerk to Luke who's also just like uh Luke's like an oblivious nice guy. Like he doesn't even
Yeah.
realize you have beef with him. Like
For sure. But they did a good job of making Luke kind of be like, yeah, I could see why you would like hate this dumbass.
I guess.
But
um Yeah, I'm trying to think what else happens in this one.
there's a not so interesting plot about Luke going to save this king's daughter in a mine.
Oh, yeah, and he blinds himself.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was dumb and weird, I thought. But also, it was like weird because isn't he like almost face to face with Vader there later for
Yeah.
a second? And
Yeah.
this takes place in between.
In between the first two movies.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah.
It struck me as odd. I was like, did they blind Luke here because they didn't want him seeing? But like, they know each other are there.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it kind of they shouldn't see each other between the movies.
Yeah.
And I mean, I guess this won't be the last comic that takes place in between the first two movies that kind of like cheapens a few things by wanting to do like fan servicey things, like have certain characters interact that shouldn't really be interacting. But I agree. That's a little strange. So yeah, I guess that's right at the very end, but this is another little issue I had with the comic, which I do still enjoy overall, but at the very end, there's like a whole legion of stormtroopers and Darth Vader there to capture Luke, and the people of this planet thought that the rebellion was bad and were kind of brainwashed to Imperial propaganda until the king like has his message to his daughter projected out to all the people, being like, "Oh, Vader is evil," and blah blah blah. See, this is like it really felt like the old Marvel Star Wars comics to me a lot, with
I
like
did see that.
these weird animal aliens of the week, and like Vader and Luke being the only characters, and I don't know, rescuing a princess, and like how many times I feel like we've seen this like at least like 5 times now, where someone's like, "Go rescue my person who got kidnapped," and then they get there and it's like, "No, I actually was not kidnapped. I'm against my father." Who
We have seen that at least like 3 or 4 times.
The Beast Riders of Onderon, that whole thing.
Wasn't this in the Mara Jade story as well?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, so let's stop doing that because it's kind of boring.
Yeah, it is dumb.
But anyway, so all that to say, the people are now against the Empire by the very end of this. There's a confrontation where all the people, like, a large population of the people of this planet are sort of there, along with Vader and a legion of stormtroopers, Luke, the princess, her, like, rebellion group, and Jan, the pilot, who's come to help Luke. In a cool moment, Jan flies his X-Wing up to the Star Destroyer in orbit and sacrifices himself to blow up the Star Destroyer.
Good riddance.
That, Vader is threatening can just like rain fire down and destroy the whole planet. Yeah, good riddance to Jan. He redeemed himself though at the end there.
Hey, he got that little green kid killed though.
Yeah, I know. Duckan or whatever.
Yeah, who he was such a jerk to.
Yeah.
And then that kid sacrificed his life to save him, and that kid with his dying words had to still tell him the moral of the story.
Yeah.
Like, you're making it too little. This is about the rebellion, not just you. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, but I honestly think those were like the strongest parts of the comic.
I do agree. I bring it up because I like it a lot.
Yeah, that whole section where he's drunk and accidentally spills the name of Luke, and then the Empire comes and like burns down the village.
Yeah,
like that's like pretty strong, and the artwork is like makes it like legitimately a little scary and sad.
I like the She-Hulk looking woman when she's like, whose name did you like? Who is that?
Yeah,
Who's with her? They're coming, and then she just like gets shot and like falls into his lap.
And has yellow blood on her back.
Yeah.
She's like, wait, I just turned in the guy who destroyed the Death Star? No.
Oops.
She smacks him. So anyway,
yeah,
the scene at the end. Vader no longer has the threat of the Star Destroyer anymore. The people sort of, while he's like, oh shit, my Star Destroyer blew up, they all tackle all the stormtroopers. So now it's essentially Vader versus like 300 civilians and some, soldier guys. And the princess is like, what are you going to do, Vader? Fight off the entire population of a planet? And then he walks away, bro. First of all, like, I get it. Luke's there. We can't kill Luke, of course. The cool way for that story to go, she goes, what are you going to do? Fight off a whole population of people? Yes.
yeah.
Fractures the ground and like sends all the people into a pit. Uses the Force to bring like 1,000 people to their knees while he's just slicing them up. Like, come on, that's what we want to see. That's the cool, interesting twist.
I was also so disappointed in that. It's a sad series of panels too, because it's his lightsaber coming out and then just like sadly going back in, and it's like, well, it's like I half expected, him to say and just start like mowing people down was what I was thinking. With the saber, even just like he can do a lot of damage on those people. Like,
absolutely. I mean, how much cooler would that have been if the last panel of that page is him going like, yes, and then you turn the page and it's just like a double page spread of him like murdering 1,000,000 people.
God.
Like, come on. That's what we want to see. And Luke like barely escapes with his life or something and is like, oh my god.
Maybe they were like, we can't have Vader commit something so atrocious in between the movies because it changes too much like the context of their next encounter.
Yeah, that's probably
the problem with doing it like this.
He's got to do all his truly like atrocious stuff before the first movie, I guess. Like his genocidal tendency, if we were going to show that. I'm not saying that does happen.
Okay.
Interesting. I'm just agreeing with you that his
dropping prequel spoilers.
No.
Oh man.
No.
Jar Jar Binks. Ooh.
Yeah. Hey, I don't know.
What kind of role does he play?
What kind of role does Jar Jar Binks play? Aren't you excited to learn?
I am, yeah.
Okay.
I have one guess and that's it.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I keep forgetting we have your predictions for the Phantom Menace. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay. So
I think I might be spot on also, by the way.
Okay.
Because like the first time, obviously gonna be so off. I don't know the context of anything. I think I've
You still got some stuff right though.
True. Luke didn't go to the space mines though.
No.
I guess he did that in one of the books you read though.
Yeah, well, actually, Han Solo went.
Oh, okay. All right, whatever.
Well, no, Luke did go there, but it was Han Solo who was like trapped into working in the mines.
Just give it to me then.
I forgot. I'm sorry. I'll give it to you. It was an accident on my part.
I forgive you.
Okay. That's big of you. That's very Luke-y of you.
No, thank you.
So yeah, I guess we were mentioning it, but there's a great moment of art in this when the kid dies. Uh, the kid is like, I bought this gun to kill you.
Yeah.
Because, like, this kid wants to join the rebellion, and Jal, drunkenly in the bar, is like, fuck off, the rebellion's a joke, like, just glory hounds. And
Worth noting, he was sent there to be a recruiter also.
Yeah,
So he's
yeah.
like,
so he's dismissed from, or put on, like, hiatus from active military duty because after he gets so mad at Luke, he, like, takes the X-Wing and crashes it into a wall,
Yeah.
essentially. And they're like, okay, you're General Dodonna has to be like, you're a threat to our security, so why
yeah.
don't you go chill for a while?
Yeah, they're like, you have such a good past record, though. We'll give you, like, a cushy little recruiting position.
Mhm.
And then he still goes and is awful. Like,
Yeah, it's like, bro, you really got off real easy for that. And then, yeah, so he essentially is so mean to this kid that the kid goes to buy a gun to come kill him. But in between that happening, the Empire attacks. The kid saves him. But there's this part where Jal, like, strangles a stormtrooper under the water, and that's, like, a pretty cool sequence of panels. Just, like, his hands and pushing him in the head, like, submerging under the water. And it's like, man, the tone of this comic... Sorry, a little spit.
it's
It gets dark sometimes. That sequence in particular, where they burn down the bar and then he's like choking out a
Yeah.
guy and the kid dies. It's intense for a minute there.
Yeah, you're right. It is it's very Henry IV Part 1, is it? A little Shakespeare reference for you.
Okay.
When Hal has to, like, I don't know if you're familiar with it, but it's like when Hal
Yeah.
has to, like, actually quit goofing off and, like, drinking with Falstaff, and he's like, oh, there's an actual war going on. I have to be, like, serious.
Yes, okay, I actually do know that part.
Yeah. So it is kind of like that, like the tonal shift of, like, this dude just, like, kind of crashing out hard, and then suddenly being like, oh wait, okay, that kid dying did remind me, like, there is a greater purpose for what we're doing aside from, like, me getting some medals and glory, you know?
Yeah. For real. No, you're absolutely right. He was responsible for a lot of people dying right there.
He got off so easy,
Yeah.
like, really.
But he died in the end,
I guess so.
He deserved it.
I feel like there was also probably ways he could have, like, saved the day without killing himself, so...
I think he felt super guilty for, like, bringing the Empire to the place he was supposed to be recruiting rebels for, and, like,
Yeah.
they probably murdered, like, 100 people.
Yeah.
there. So
He was not gonna live a normal life after that anyway.
You can't go back and face the rebel tribunal again and be
Yeah.
like,
Like, okay, this
okay,
time it is a court martial.
yeah, you're going to jail.
Yeah.
No.
God.
We sent you away because we thought you were a threat to security, and then you name dropped Luke Skywalker.
Then you proved it. You proved you were.
Yeah, damn. But it's a pretty, like, well written, that at least that part of it is well written. I think Luke's whole aspect is boring, as we said.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Luke didn't really even need to be in this, to be honest. Like, there could have been a way to do this without Luke, I think.
Mhm.
But yeah, for what, like, Jal is... I think he sucks as a character, but, like, it was fun to read him, and,
Yeah.
like, I cared about his story still,
Me too.
So they did a good job with it.
Yeah, he's the best part about this.
I agree.
Even though he's a true asshole. Like, the other aspect of this that's only really present, like, the first 2 issues, and then at the very end, is, so Vader's, like, torturing this guy, this rebel pilot at the very beginning, who gives him the name Skywalker. And there's, like, a lot of people in the room who heard this, or whatever.
Huh.
There's, like, his interrogator guy, as well as, like, some other, like, mercenary people who hear about it from this lady who's like a dwarf person inside of a robot exoskeleton.
Oh my! I forgot about this plotline entirely.
Yeah. It kind of goes away and then just comes back at the very end.
Yeah.
When she tells the Emperor
Yeah.
the name.
And Palpatine is like really amused with her for some reason.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah. I like your attitude, kind
Yeah.
of thing.
Why wouldn't I kill you? Yeah. I don't know. I'm cute. I don't know what she says.
Something like that, though.
He's like, okay.
So Vader wants. This is the part that's a little confusing to me. Vader wants to kill everybody who heard the Skywalker name, but then later, Skywalker. Oh, that's who I heard had a bounty out on him, and that's like how Vader learns where Luke is. So he does want some people to know the name to tell him where he is. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, weird.
But so Vader like hunts down all these guys who heard the name, and then he goes to like his interrogator guy who's in like this aviary, and that guy's like, Skywalker, I've never heard the name Skywalker. I don't know, I didn't even say it just now. And then Vader kills him, but then all the birds in the aviary are just like chanting Skywalker, like parroting it, and it kind of sends Vader into a little fit of rage for a second. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That
dude.
was a good moment.
I was gonna say because I thought you were about to call that moment goofy.
No, I
but
really liked it.
I was like, as soon as I saw the moment, I was like, I want to see like this moment and like the visual metaphor. I think would work really well on screen too. Even.
Yeah.
Like Vader trying to chop down these like parakeet type aliens, I guess. Like,
but they just, you can't get all of them.
yeah, just the Skywalker squawking.
Mm-hmm.
I like that a lot too. I thought it was cool.
And I think they did a good. The cool thing you can do of like with Darth Vader is like something like that happens, and then just do like a close up of his face. He's so pissed. Like we don't see his expression almost ever, obviously, but it's cool to like show something happening and then do a close up of his face. I think that always communicates like how angry he probably is, like pretty effectively.
Man,
cool.
I'm excited for these prequels because I know we're getting more Vader, more Anakin.
Yep.
Oh no! Don't laugh like that when I say it. That makes me think I'm not gonna enjoy what I see.
I genuinely don't know how you're
reading you like a book, man.
No, I am like truly. My reaction is because I am very excited for you to watch them. Like, regardless of what you'll think, whether you'll like or dislike them, I think you'll find them super interesting. And I really don't know how you're going to react to a lot of things. So,
okay,
there's things that I know how I feel about, and I know how the general public tends to feel about. But you're your own person. You might think completely different from me, completely different from the consensus. We don't know. We will have to see.
Yeah, I'm excited. What if I go against the grain so hard when it comes to the prequels?
That'd be awesome. Well, anything else about that one before we talk about Rogue Squadron for a little bit?
No, nothing else.
All right. So the Rogue Squadron video game, right? This is for the Nintendo. I'll shut down for a minute if you don't mind, sir. No, that's fine.
Boop. I don't know what the button is. I can't see that.
Okay.
I've just about had enough.
Come on, my first time doing it. I can do it now that I've got access right here in person.
Does it not give these to you? Would probably have to upload them yourself on your if when we were doing it virtually.
Yeah, I don't think I even had the ability as a guest to pull up a little thing like that.
Okay. Well, wow, the power I hold over you.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Wow.
Pretty good usage of it, huh?
Yeah.
Feel like we should keep this closer to me, huh?
Okay. Well, I could like plug my mouse in too, and then you could just have it over by you.
Good idea.
All right, so the Rogue Squadron video game, developed by Factor 5 and published by LucasArts. This is a game that was released for the Nintendo 64 as well as PC. And as the name would suggest, it follows the adventures of Rogue Squadron, mostly between episodes 4 and 5, after the destruction of the Death Star, going on missions the story is not too interesting. You do follow Crix Maydeen defecting from the Empire and joining the rebellion. A character that we love, right?
Yeah,
Crix
is he in the
Maydeen.
prequels?
Someone's gonna be like, yes, he is in the background of blah blah blah. Actually, if you know where to look, Crix
Oh my
Maydeen.
goodness.
Maybe.
Okay, wow.
Hey,
Who else are we getting in the prequels that you're not telling me that? It's in the comics and stuff.
I have no clue.
Kirk Hanos?
Kirk Hanos. Kennick's Kill.
Yeah. I know that's not right in the timeline, but hey, anything could happen.
Hey, we don't.
Kid Kirk Hanos.
Yeah, young Kirk Hanos, young old Ulick Keldromo.
Yeah.
Well, no, he died.
Really old. Oh, yeah.
Old Vima Sunrider.
Yeah. Oh, what if the prequel starts with the funeral of Vima?
Yes, that's the first. That's the first scene of Phantom Menace.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll spoil that for you. That is the first scene of
In
Phantom
Palpatine's garden.
Yes.
No, it makes sense now.
This is really a fun game though. It's a arcadey flight simulator game, not nearly as like in depth mechanically of a flight simulator as the earlier X-Wing games that we played.
Oh well, yeah.
But it is extremely fun and more accessible, I think, than those. And most of the missions actually take place like over the surface of a planet rather than in deep space. But yeah, you blow up the Death Star in the opening mission, and then
Someone get this game in Zhao's hands. He'd love that.
yeah, for real. You mostly control Luke going around different planets. You get to fly X-Wing, you get to fly A-Wing, you get to fly Y-Wing, you get to fly the B-Wing in this one?
I think I saw were people also flying the Millennium Falcon in it?
Yeah, so you can unlock the Millennium Falcon, you can unlock like a TIE Interceptor, and you can also unlock there's this thing called the V-Wing that we saw in the Dark Empire comic books. Like those ones that had like the watercolor art and took place after.
I remember the book. I don't remember what the V-Wings in there looked like.
Well, in your video watching, did you see the bonus level against the World Devastators on Mon Cala?
No, I didn't.
So that's like a bonus level. That's a scene out of those comics. Like when the World Devastators come to the Mon Cala, the water planet, and like Rogue Squadron uses the new V-Wings to take them out. I think it's cool they put that in the video game level.
Yeah,
straight out of the comic.
Cool.
But yeah. Anyway, I don't know. I just played through this whole game on live stream recently, and it's really fun.
It's a pretty popular one too, right? I got the sense when I was looking. I tried not to watch any of these ones, but I guess there's like 3 Rogue Squadron games. Yeah, and it seems like people are like, I love the Rogue Squadron games or something.
People love them. Yeah, I think the second one is probably like the most. Well, the first 2 are really loved. The third one is a little more. Didn't sell as well and is a little hit or miss because it's got like these weird third person running around on the ground sections that are not fun. But the space battles are still great in that one. Anyway,
stick to what you know, Rogue Squadron. Don't go third person on the ground.
Yeah, it's not needed.
Yeah.
There are other games for that. But it's just great. You get to fly all the different ships you want to fly. You get to take down TIE fighters. Super satisfying. Wrap your snow speeder tow cable around the legs of a AT-AT. Essentially it's like if that first level of Shadows of the Empire was a whole game. And it's great fun. If you do get the chance to play it, I would totally recommend it, even if we don't talk about it on here. Just because it's easy to emulate in 64 games, and it's really fun to play.
I wish I could just buy these things, like, on Switch or something. Like, why is it?
Yeah,
Why do they gatekeep all these?
they have a lot of Star Wars games on Switch.
Oh,
I think
okay.
it's just certain, like, old ones that they've reported to Switch, but
Yeah.
I think it's just certain ones that certain studio deals and things. But apparently, the rumor is that the Rogue Squadron games are going to be coming, maybe not as remasters, but just like re-releases to PlayStation Network and the Switch store and stuff.
Oh,
So maybe
okay.
soon we'll be able to
All
play
right.
these.
I did see Jedi Academy on there. I think I told you I'm
Yep.
thinking of getting that one. So
Yeah, you could play
Play
that if
through.
you want. I would play. They go to like some planets and stuff from the prequels in those though.
Oh, really?
Which is
Well,
not that
I'll
big a
watch
deal,
them
but-
here soon enough anyway.
Yeah. As long as you wait until April 25th to play
Okay.
these games.
Okay.
But I was gonna say I would play Jedi Outcast before you play Jedi Academy because Outcast is the one that leads right into Jedi Academy.
Okay.
And they're similar games, but some people like the other one more than people have different opinions. I'm learning. I just beat the Dark Side playthrough of Jedi Academy this morning.
Oh, that's cool. You can do sort of both sides of it.
Yeah. There's just one point pretty deep into the game where you make a choice and then it's going towards the light or dark ending. So I just reloaded that save and played like the last 2 levels again.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, people are up in the air about which one is better, Jedi Outcast or Jedi Academy.
Were you getting some fights in the live stream?
I mean, no fights, just differences of opinion.
You got to handle your live stream better. You got to moderate those explosive
Heathens.
personalities.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um,
You kicked me out of one. I don't know why you can't do that with other people. So
I was playing a Phantom Menace game at that time, bro.
okay. And that influenced my guess, by the way, for what the Phantom Menace is all about.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
No.
Hey, I mean, the game is not really what Phantom Menace is all about, but it is a little bit of what it's about.
All I saw was you flying around on a green planet. You know.
Hey, there you go.
That's it.
That's fine. I
Okay.
can live with that. Anyway, yeah, Rogue Squadron, fun time. The Y-Wings, freaking monsters to handle, though, I would say.
I bet that game was a little more difficult on an actual N64 controller. Because I'm sure I don't know, what do you use, a PS5 controller to emulate?
Yeah. Which, like, sometimes the left stick would be weird, though, for it, because it's still trying, I think, to emulate the N64, which has, like, the notches underneath the joystick, which makes movement, like, weird on there sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. Like, some people in the comments were saying you should get the they have now for Switch, like the N64 controller, like a new version of that, and they're like, yeah, play it with that. I'm like,
that controller's like so bad though.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
It's better to remap to something else.
Mhm.
But yeah.
But it's a fun game. I like it a lot. Yeah. But speaking of the Phantom Menace, should we get to your prediction here?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I'm gonna have to be really well behaved right now.
I'm nervous about it.
I'm just gonna try to not have much of a reaction.
Okay.
So don't take it personally. It's just me trying to not spoil anything. But I wanna hear it, and I think it's good to lead into the next episode with.
Okay. God, hey, we've come so far. Do you remember the first time I did this?
Yeah.
Wow, what a journey.
It'll be episode 25 too, that is the Phantom Menace too. So that's a nice little solid number to kick off the next era of the podcast.
Yeah, we're a quarter of the way to 100 episodes.
Yeah,
Whoa.
bro. True.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. I'm settling down.
Lights up. In a galaxy far, far away. It's a time of awesome galactic peace. The Jedi Council has been ruling the Old Republic with much success ever since thwarting the Clone War, which was a clone threat of mysterious origins that was stopped by the Jedis, but the true mastermind behind the war was never caught. And that man? A young Palpatine, who now finds himself sitting on the Jedi Council and gaining much respect due to his iron-fisted ideology about the future of the Jedi Order. Meanwhile, a young Obi-Wan Kenobi, also a respected Jedi, trains his students, Anakin Skywalker and Natalie Portman, whose character name I don't know. And those two act as like foils to each other. So I'm imagining like Natalie Portman is going to be more following the traditional Jedi dogma and light side stuff, and then Anakin's slowly going to be seduced by power. And I also think he's probably going to get a little insecure because I think he has like a little crush on Natalie Portman's character, and like they just can't make it work. And he's like, oh no, and I think that happens. And then Palpatine has this ongoing plan to bribe Jedis who aren't already loyal to him and have them vote for him to be the leader of the Jedi Council. So once he's voted in, he can tear down what it is and build anew the Dark Jedi reign. And for those who can't be bribed or sweet-talked, Palpatine sends his student and expert Jedi assassin, Darth Maul. Darth Maul, boom. Include Eddie's in there. To deal with them, which ends up killing a lot of Jedis, and nobody knows what's happening. Kind of like a Phantom Menace or something. until Anakin and Natalie Portman accidentally run into Mace Windu, another Jedi, and Darth Maul and him are fighting, and they're able to save Mace from death despite the immense power of Darth Maul. And then, sorry, there's a lot to work in, so I had to flesh this out.
This is amazing. This is amazing.
And then, when mentioning Darth Maul to Obi-Wan, they mentioned the tattoo markings on his face, which I think Darth Maul has. I don't know if that's like his skin or they're like ritual Sith markings, but I think their markings are tattoos. Obi-Wan recalls his mentor, Master Yoda. Yoda. You know that guy?
I know him, yeah.
Talking about a similar type of dark Jedi in the past that is extra dangerous. Because I didn't have like a real good justification for why, so I was just thinking like, I know Darth Maul used a double-sided lightsaber, so like maybe that's some crazy technique that's really hard to fight, and maybe there's other Force abilities that are associated with that. So that's like kind of why they're like, oh, that's a pretty big threat. And then Yoda is like, okay, we need to learn more about this, so I'll take you to this ancient planet where Dark Jedi used to train, and to their surprise, Darth Maul is there at that moment. And then there's like an epic fight, and they end up taking out Darth Maul. But unfortunately, the damage is done because, Darth Maul took out enough Jedis, Palpatine won over enough that he ends up getting democratically elected, and he wins the vote to the council. And that's where the movie ends.
Wow.
Pretty good, right?
That's great. I mean...
Pretty spot on, right?
I'm not going to say anything about how accurate it is, but that sounds like a good movie.
Okay, all right.
That's what I will say.
Word. I do think the thing I'm most correct about is like, because I'm not 100% sure, but just because I've seen like so much Palpatine meme stuff get wrapped up in people posting about politics, like I think he wins an election. Like I think that is a thing of the movie. That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would understand why you would think that.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard quotes being like, oh, it's just like Star Wars where like this terrible thing's happening, but it's what the people voted for or something like that, Like I feel like I've heard that about
Wow, cool. Yeah, I have also seen stuff like that.
Okay, so I'm at least thinking the right thing. It's like hard to know if it's Star Wars or not.
Yeah, no, people definitely post stuff like that for sure. That's a great little story you came up with, though.
I'm so sorry. I forgot to include because I didn't know where to put him in it, but I do have a thought for like what Jar Jar Binks' role in the movie is.
Oh yeah, I was about to say no Jar Jar.
Yeah,
in there.
but because of specific like I don't know the specific details, or could even like really fathom the guesses of like the places they go in the movie. My thought was like Jar Jar Binks, I think, is either a bartender or like an innkeeper at like one of the planets they go to or something. And he's like a HR nightmare type guy that they just have to deal with to get to their room.
Or like being weird to women and stuff. Okay. Yeah, okay.
Just the vibe I get.
Well, that's funny. We will see very soon.
Okay.
I mean, we can watch it whenever you want.
Okay, yeah, man.
Whenever. I'm excited though.
Yeah, me too.
Great. I do really like your prediction. I think that'll be great for people to hear like that is like pretty much everything you know about the movie. You did throw in there. Like,
Yeah, I
okay.
will say I think there's pod racing in these ones too. I think that's where this gets like introduced as a concept outside of just the animation that we've seen.
Oh, yeah,
So I
yeah.
think that's in there, but I don't know how that would play in. That's the only other thing in my head that I've got like, okay, that's in the movie.
Gotcha. Okay. So, I mean, as far as like the characters and that as a general concept, you're not like wrong about anything. Um, I just mean like pod racing being in it and
Yeah.
the names of the characters you included. A lot of your details in your story are wrong. My whole point is, uh, it's just exciting that you really don't know very much about what happens.
Yeah, maybe it's just like a popularity thing where like the like height of success that the original trilogy had is so much more even than like the success that the prequels had, that like all of that stuff was more just like living in the world and knowledge I picked up here and there.
Yeah.
But like prequel stuff, I feel like I barely ever hear anything about it. Maybe I'm like not tuned into it yet because I haven't seen them, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I see a ton of stuff about it, but it's all people like our age or younger. Not all, but mostly. And so yeah, it's just been around less time. It's, not as many like bumper stickers with prequel quotes on them as
Yeah.
like original stuff.
But like I said, I don't even know Natalie Portman's character's name. Like the other Star Wars characters, I knew all their names. I think when we started with the
Yeah, right.
original trilogy. But yeah,
I would guess there are a couple more names in the prequels that once you do hear them, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've definitely heard that.
oh
before.
really? There's people I didn't say that you think I'd all recognize?
Probably, maybe not, but
Oh.
I think a couple. Yeah.
Aliens or humans? Or I guess like human looking aliens. Like
Bit of both. Bit
oh
of both.
okay.
Yeah. My guess is it's possible you've never heard these names, but
I'm trying to think if there's like any other alien like Jar Jar Binks that is like a popular one that
there's no alien like Jar Jar Binks.
Okay.
He's a special guy.
Okay.
Spoilers, it's a man.
I figured that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can tell by my comment. I figured he was a man.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yeah.
I could figure. Man, I can't wait. Obviously we'll figure out when we're gonna do that exactly off mic, but I'm really excited.
Yeah, me too, man. Ooh, finally, we're finally here.
I know. Yeah. So yeah, I guess we'll wrap it up by saying that, as we've already said. But next episode is the Phantom Menace, 1999. George Lucas returns to the world of Star Wars.
Yay.
Returns to the director's chair.
Yeah.
And writes the whole screenplay.
Yay.
We will see what we think about it.
Yeah.
My guess is that this is going to be a long episode, our next one, because if you're okay with it being long, because I know that I have so many things that I want to ask you about, as well as let you know what I think about.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited to watch this one.
We might have to break it down like scene by scene and go through the whole movie. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens, but
I'm fine with that. That'll cement it in my head too for when we watch the next one anyway.
yeah. That and the Weird Al song will cement it in your head, because
Oh,
that
you said
song
the whole plot
goes
right?
through the whole plot of the
Okay.
movie pretty well, pretty
Awesome.
accurately.
Okay.
Yeah. If I say any more words, I'll probably just be saying too much about.
Yeah, see, this
the
is
prequel,
less
so-
fun because the first time I read my prediction after I watched the movie with you. Now I get no catharsis from this. I just have to wait.
Hey, delayed gratification though, it's good for you.
All right.
I
fair
think
enough.
that's good for the audience, for
Yeah.
that to be.
Well, hey, they already know though. They presumably they have watched.
Right. I'm saying that's why I think your predictions ending this episode.
Oh, you think it's
is
fun to
good for
keep
the
me out of
audience.
the joke? Okay.
Yeah, we're all laughing at you, you dumb idiot.
Yeah.
You don't know exactly what happens in something you haven't seen before.
Well,
Oh my god, I'm laughing my ass off at how foolish so many of your thoughts were. No, I think you did a great job of with the information that you have.
yeah. I hope I'm right about Darth Maul because I kind of think that's like a cool little position for him to be in.
Yeah.
So
That is cool. I mean, again, that's all I'll say about it. That sounds like a great Star Wars movie, what
Okay.
you just said. Sounds cool. I would watch that.
okay.
I've got written down, this is from a few years ago, but my version of what I wish the Phantom Menace was.
Oh, really?
So after we watch it, I'll share that with
Oh
you.
my god. Okay, that's awesome. I'm glad you did that.
Yeah. That was a while ago, but I've thought about it quite a lot. So
Were you like working on a YouTube script or something like Jackson fixes the Phantom Menace?
no. People have done videos like that though. No, it was just for my own
Okay.
personal
All right. But
collection.
everyone should look forward to that video.
Well, you'll hear it on the pod. I'll read it out on the pod.
Okay. All right.
I have a lot of notes about the movie from a few years ago, and I was just taking notes about it. So maybe I'll crack those open.
That's awesome,
Um,
dude.
Uh,
I love that you were taking that like it was you were going to report on it or something, and are going to.
yeah, hey, a few years late, but
Yeah.
no, I just was so bursting with thoughts about it. I had to just write them down.
Yeah.
But now I'll get to share them. Yeah, all right. That's enough for now. Next episode, Phantom Menace. We enter the prequel era of Star Wars officially, and there's no going back.
Wow.
Thanks for watching.
Well, you don't
thought about it.
No.